Hi, you guys. Today I'm recreating an old video of mine for ultimate gluten-free cinnamon rolls. These are probably the top recipe on my entire website, and it's for good reason. You cannot tell that these are gluten-free, and I'm not talking just taste, I'm talking texture. Everybody that's made these, and it's been like now about thousands of people, have said that they have been looking for a cinnamon roll like this, a gluten-free cinnamon roll, for years, sometimes 15 to 20 years. And they stopped as soon as they got to this recipe because it is so good and so much like a real cinnamon roll. So let's get started. In the bowl of a stand mixer, I have all the dry ingredients, which include my gluten-free bread flour blend, granulated sugar, baking powder, instant yeast, whole psyllium husks, and salt. Now, you don't have to use the whole psyllium husk or even psyllium husk powder. These are delicious and perfect without them, but I just find that adding them to anything that is a yeast bread helps with the extensibility of the dough and being able to shape the dough better. Now, get this on the mixer using the dough hook or the beater blade and add your milk. It doesn't have to be warmed up. It can be at room temperature because we're using instant yeast and not active dry yeast. To that, we're going to add 2 eggs, and we're supposed to add 1.5 sticks of butter, softened butter, but I forgot to add it here when I was doing the video. I ended up adding it later, but just know that it's in the recipe to add the butter. Scrape it all together and cover it, and we're going to let it rise for 1 to 2 hours or until doubled in size, and then we put it in the fridge for about 6 hours until it's nice and chilled. In the meantime, we'll make the filling, and the filling consists of butter, cinnamon, and brown sugar. And we whip this for a good 3 to 4 minutes until it's nice and fluffy like this. Now we take the chilled dough and knead it just until it's smooth. And my timeline for this is I made this dough early in the morning on Saturday morning, let it proof, and then put it in the fridge for 6 hours. And now it's nighttime. I'm getting ready to make these overnight for the next morning. Start rolling it out. You can roll it to whatever size you want, whatever thickness you want. I find the best thickness is about 1/4 inch or so. And right here, I'm making the big Cinnabon type cinnamon rolls, but you can do a smaller type, which I'll show you at the end of this video. So spread your filling on and leave a good 1/2 inch or so at the top there where you plan to roll it up and seal it. I'm rolling this way instead of the other way because I want nice, big, thick rolls. If I were to roll it the other way, lengthwise, I would get smaller rolls and a lot more of them. And I'll show you that at the end of the video, like I said. So just roll this up. And then the best method is to take a piece of unflavored dental floss and twist it at the top and pull it through. And see, I'm making huge cinnamon rolls, like I said, so I'm only going to get 4 out of this. Now, this is half a recipe of dough, by the way. And I'm going to cover this with plastic wrap. And I'm doing an overnight roll for these, so I'm putting them in the fridge overnight. So the next morning, this is the next morning, and they have risen somewhat in the fridge, and I also let them come to room temperature on the counter for about an hour before putting them in the oven at 350 for 20 to 25 minutes. So now we'll make the cream cheese frosting. You can't see it, but there's 4 ounces of cream cheese underneath this big pile of powdered sugar. It's 2 cups, as well as 1/2 stick or 4 tablespoons of butter. And we're just going to mix this until it's smooth. And now the rolls have come out of the oven. Look, you guys, look at these rolls. Are they not perfect? They are heaven on a plate, I am telling you. Now, I spread the cream cheese on the cream cheese frosting on each individual roll because I'd rather be able to heat them up and then not have the cream cheese frosting like melt into it. So I basically serve them with the cream cheese frosting on the side and let everybody put their own frosting on, because everybody wants that extra frosting anyway. But look at how they tear apart. They're light and fluffy. Like my husband said, Cinnabon has nothing on these cinnamon rolls. And guess what? He can eat cinnamon rolls. So now here's a way to do it smaller rolls. So I'm just cutting this with a regular serrated knife. And what I did is after I rolled out the dough, I put it in the freezer for 15 minutes or so. But see, you're getting 9 rolls instead of 4. And again, this is a half a recipe of the dough. So imagine if you use the entire recipe of dough, you would get, I don't know, 18, 12 rolls, something like that. But look at these. Even smaller, they're nice and soft and fluffy, and they can be pulled apart. I don't know if that's the way you'd like to eat your cinnamon rolls, but I love pulling them apart and getting to that center that's extra gooey. If you make only one of my recipes ever, let it be this one. You'll love them.